When we think of medieval construction, our minds often drift to towering stone castles, sprawling cathedrals, and timber-framed homes. But beneath the grandeur of these structures lies a lesser-known secret, a wood preservation technique so effective that it allowed timber to last decades, sometimes centuries, underground or exposed to harsh elements. Remarkably, this hack was so reliable that it became commonplace in its time. Yet over the centuries its method was largely forgotten, erased from most historical texts. Today we're going to uncover this medieval secret, explore why it worked, and discuss how modern enthusiasts and builders can adapt these ancient strategies for long-lasting wood in homes, cellars, and even underground structures. The story begins with the challenge of preserving timber in a harsh world. Medieval builders faced relentless problems with rot, insect infestation, and moisture. Oak, ash, and elm were prized for their density and strength, but even these robust species could decay quickly if improperly treated. Historical records suggest that entire construction techniques relied on not just choosing the right wood, but modifying it before use. Archaeologists have discovered beams from medieval sites that remained intact for centuries, despite being buried in soil or exposed to rain and snow. What allowed this? The answer lies in a surprisingly simple process that combined natural resins, smoke, and controlled drying. A method so effective that it didn't require modern chemical preservatives, yet it rendered wood almost impervious to decay. Understanding how medieval smoke curing protected timber. One of the central elements of this forgotten technique was smoke curing. Timber was partially charred or exposed to smoke from specific wood types before use. The smoke penetrated the wood fibres, depositing natural resins and creating a surface layer that repelled moisture while discouraging insects. Unlike superficial charring, this method allowed smoke to seep into the pores of the timber, producing long-lasting protection without making the wood brittle. Medieval builders often placed beams in small smoke-filled chambers or over smouldering fires for several days. The result was wood that could survive underground storage, damp castle cellars, or external framing in exposed environments. Modern applications of this principle are straightforward. Timber intended for underground projects or damp conditions can be lightly smoked or torched to emulate this protective layer. Even small-scale smoke treatments can significantly extend the wood's lifespan. Exploring the use of natural resins and oils in timber preservation. Smoke alone wasn't enough. Medieval craftsmen frequently combined it with natural oils or plant resins. Pine resin, linseed oil, and animal fats were rubbed or soaked into wood, further enhancing its resistance to moisture and microbial attack. Some records indicate that beams destined for waterlogged areas or dungeon floors were submerged in resin-rich solutions for days before installation. This process created a hydrophobic barrier that prevented water absorption while keeping the wood strong and flexible. Today, modern builders can replicate this by applying natural oils like linseed, tung oil, or beeswax to timber intended for cellars, root storage, or any humid environment. Combining oil treatment with smoke curing creates a layered defense, echoing medieval wisdom with materials accessible to anyone. Understanding how drying and environmental control completed the preservation cycle. The final element of the medieval hack was, patience and environmental control. After smoke curing and oil treatment, timber was slowly air-dried in shaded, ventilated areas. Rapid drying was avoided, as it could cause cracking and compromise the protective layers. This careful drying allowed the resins and oils to fully penetrate the wood fibres, ensuring long-term protection. In essence, medieval craftsmen were performing a controlled seasoning process that modern construction often overlooks. In practical terms today, if you are preparing timber for a cellar, buried storage unit, or exposed framework, drying treated wood slowly in a shaded or ventilated area is critical. Skipping this step reduces the effectiveness of any preservative treatment, just as it would have in medieval times. Seeing how this medieval technique can be applied to modern projects. Whether you're building a root cellar, off-grid shelter, or a timber frame for a garden shed, the medieval wood hack offers practical lessons. Select naturally dense, rot-resistant wood, then incorporate the three-step protection, smoke curing to deposit natural resins, soaking or rubbing with oils or plant resins, and slow, ventilated drying to stabilize the timber. For underground applications, you can also combine these treatments with modern vapor barriers and capillary breaks to emulate centuries of medieval durability. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't rely on modern chemical preservatives, making it sustainable, low-cost, and historically authentic. Learning from history to make wood last centuries. What makes this forgotten technique fascinating isn't just its effectiveness, but its elegance. Medieval builders discovered solutions through observation, experimentation, and an intimate knowledge of natural materials. By cross-applying these methods today, we can extend the life of timber in ways that modern construction often ignores. From buried storage spaces to outdoor structures, the medieval wood hack proves that sometimes the oldest solutions are the most durable. If this deep dive into medieval craftsmanship sparked your curiosity, make sure to subscribe to Thermal Vault and share this episode with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts. Ancient techniques like this aren't just stories. They're practical tools you can apply today to protect your structures and honor the ingenuity of the past.